Okay, the next assignment is or the lecture is DES. Secret and public encryption algorithms. Talk about that for a second. This is a repeat. So everything from now on is on the second test. Okay? So obviously this was also on the first test. Well, you would know that, would you? So you haven't taken it yet. Has anyone taken the test yet? No. That's it. I'm just going to give you all 1 day for everything from now on. Doesn't matter. I mean, you'll wait till the last day anyway. Okay. Symmetric or secret key, 1 key for encryption and decryption. Same as we talked about before. Asymmetric, you use different keys, 1 to encrypt, 1 to decrypt. You all should have done the PGP exercise, so you'd be good there. Okay. All right, 2 keys per user. Okay, now secret key, also called symmetric algorithms, the same key for encryption and decryption. And DES, or the data encryption standard, is one of them. Okay. EES, skipjack, is another. AES is another. Okay. Single key for both channels. Okay. There's a secret key known only to A and B, and then you basically encrypt with it. Okay. Nothing critical yet. Okay. There's some problems with it. First of all, revealed keys. If I have a secret key and someone sees it, well, it's no longer a secret. So that could be an issue. Okay. Key distribution. If I'm trying to get you the key, that's a problem. Because what if we're not near each other? We're actually going to cover Diffie-Hellman later on, which you can see we could use to transfer keys. There's also a large number of keys.
Isn't Diffie-Hellman asymmetric?
Yes. But you can use it to transfer keys.
Right.
You'll see. Okay. So it's the decree went through the land to find a good secure algorithm. We need a good one. One worthy competitor named Lucifer came forward from IBM. Okay. So why is it called Lucifer? Well, let's talk about DES. Okay, it's a cipher based on the Feistel structure. Horst Feistel came up with this. Symmetric structure where encryption and decryption operations are nearly identical. They just manipulate the key schedule. That's basically what a Feistel structure is. Okay? It's based on the Lucifer cipher. So why the heck is it called Lucifer? Does anyone know?
Because they use the demon for their demonstration.
So did y'all read that in that book or something? Yeah. Holy! Wait a minute. Y'all read the book and you saw that in there?
Some of it. That was interesting.
Praise God. Oh my God. You actually learned something. I'm shocked. Okay, Lucifer algorithm was based on the demon algorithm, short for demonstration. Wow, I'm so proud. Okay, nothing to do with the devil at all. Wow, that's pretty good. By the way, I don't know who. I look at the discussions, but I don't know who does what. But some of you aren't reading the damn thing because you're getting zeros. You're not doing nothing. And I don't know who. Obviously, a couple of you knew it because you said it. So, all right, now let's talk about DES again. NIST 1977 developed it for general purpose. Okay, general purpose use in 1977. It was accepted as a cryptographic standard worldwide. Has both hardware and software. Which one would be better, hardware or software?
Hardware.
Hardware is always better. Always, 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 always better. Okay. The algorithm is a complex combination of substitution and transposition, or product cipher. 64-bit block with a 56-bit key. Has 16 rounds. The same algorithm used for encryption and decryption. We're going to walk through all these in great gory detail here tonight. Too excited? Okay. Here it is. Kind of looks kind of confusing, but we're going to look at it a different way. Okay. The algorithm design. First thing we have is we call it an initial permutation. Okay. So we do something initially. Then we have 16 cycles combined with a key transformation. Then we have a final permutation that undoes what we did initially. That's all it is. You got that? You're good. Okay. Here's the cycles, the 16 cycles. First of all, we split it. So we start with a 64-bit block of text. We split it in half. We get left and right. We don't do a darn thing to the left. It just hangs out there. We do everything to the right. So we split it in half. Then we take the 32 bits from the right side, expand it to 48. Okay? Then we XOR it with the transformed key of 48-bit, which we'll see how that works. Then we use a substitution choice box, bring it back down to 32 bits. Then we run it through a permutation box, XOR it back with the original left side, and then put them all back together again. Okay? So we're going to see how this actually works. Sounds like a lot, but it's actually very simple. Okay, here it is. So up here at the top, we got our 64-bit block right here, okay? All see that? Okay. This initial permutation does something. Splits, we do this, then we split it in half. We get our left side and our right side. You notice the left side, we don't do anything with it. We take the left and bring it back here and then XOR it again with the right. The right side, we go through this substitution thing, but we also take a copy of the right side, and that becomes the next left. Okay? So the left we don't do a darn thing with initially. The right becomes the next left, but we also take it, run through a substitution box, a permutation box. We XOR it back with the original left. And yes?
So when it becomes a new left, does it split or clone?
No, because remember, the right's a 32. These are both 32 now. Because this is 32, this is 32. So we take this one, and that 32 becomes this 32. It's literally just a copy of the right. Okay? And down here, you'll notice that right there becomes the next left, and so on and so forth. Then after we've done this 16 times, we undo what we did initially, and then we're finished. So far, so good? I haven't showed you really the workings of anything yet, but that's the general idea. How many cycles are there? 16. People get that wrong all the time. Okay, here's the actual initial permutation. It's like bit 1 goes to bit 40, and so on and so forth. Anyone remember spirograph? Anyone old enough for spirograph? Doesn't that kind of look like spirograph? That kind of thing we would do? Okay. Right. So just remember what that looks like. We're going to see the final one here in a minute, and you'll say, wow. Okay? So the initial, bit 1 goes to bit 40. Bit 2 goes to bit 8. Bit 3 goes to 48. Bit 4 goes to 16. 5 goes to 56. 6 goes to 24. 7 goes to 64. And 8 goes to 32. So we're just moving them around. So far, so good? Mm-hmm. We're not removing any. We're not adding any. We're not duplicating any. We're literally just moving them around. Hence that picture right there. That's initial permutation. Simple to do, and it's hard-coded right there exactly what it does. This is part of your homework assignment. Okay. All right, the final permutation. Again, let's go look at this picture. There's the initial. There's the final.
Same thing upside down.
Same thing upside down. And the final is the same thing. So remember, bit 1 went to 40. Remember that? So look for bit 40. Where does that go? To bit 1. It's literally undoing what we did. So it takes it, mixes it all up, we do all our stuff, and then it unmixes it all. Why? I don't know. It just does. It's one of those things you just do. Okay? Now here's the cycles. So remember, we split the 64-bit block in half. We got two 32s. So the right side, we need to expand it up to 48. Because what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down here and XOR it with this key. We're going to do something with this key. The key is 56 bits divided in half. It shifts, which we'll talk more about. Then we have per meter choice, which we bring it down to 48. So it goes from 56 to 48. And this 48 and this 48 gets XORed together. Comes down here to the substitution box. That 48 becomes 32. Goes through a per meter choice. And then we XOR it back with the left. Okay. Let's go to the next section. There's the expansion permutation. Now you'll notice, look at bit 1. It's either 1 or 2. 1. See, bit 1 goes to bit 2 and bit 40, or 48. See that? Some of them are duplicated. Okay, now let's look at the chart for it. So bit 1 goes to bit 2 and 48. So whatever is in bit 1's position, we take it and put it in bit 2 and bit 48. Whatever is in bit 2 goes to 3. 3 goes to 4. 4 goes to 5 and 7. So this would be so easy to do in Excel. Do you all agree with that? It's also very easy to do in Java and Python and just about everything. Super easy to do. All right. Now the S box, okay? Now what we're taking it, we have the expanded right side. Let's go back where the S box is. Here's our S box. Remember, we're 48. We haven't talked about the key yet. Our X box, you know, is a 48. When it comes in, now we need to bring it down to 32. So how are we going to cut out those extra blocks? Extra bit. Oh, there it is. What we do here is, so the first 6 bits, we end up with only 4 bits. So some of them, you're gone. Why? I don't know. It just does. Okay. So that's how that works. And there's the chart for that. So we kind of delete some of them. You do not need to memorize this part. Your assignment, don't go this far. Okay. All right, the permutation box is that's what it does there. And there's the box of that one. Just kind of moves them around as well. And so we've talked about the expansion box. Any questions there? Remember, that's where some of them were duplicated. Substitution box, that's where we just deleted a few of them. And permutation box, we just moved them around. So we covered all those. Okay. Now let's talk about the keys. The keys shift on each cycle. So say we got a 56-bit key all lined up. Well, every cycle it shifts by 1. Shifts by 1. Okay? Well, not 1. It's 1, 1, then 2, 2, 2, 2, then 1. Why? I don't know, because that's what they wrote it to be. Okay? That's beyond me. Okay. All right, choice permutation. Now this is right underneath the key thing. You'll see some of them are deleted as well. Because remember, we started with 56-bit key. We got to get it down to 48 bits. So let's just throw out a few. Why? I don't know. Was that commercial? Why? Because we love you. I don't know. Wasn't that a commercial or something? It was something. Okay. So that was the permuted choice we saw. So we just saw those two. Simple so far, isn't it? It's kind of weird. Okay. So the algorithm. Do not need to memorize this. So the left is equal to the next right. In other words, so the left is equal to the right minus 1. Because remember, we have the left and the right. Right, the previous right. See how that works? Okay. And I'm not going to go through this, but they're basically the same. Okay, they're very, very close. Okay. All right, the same hardware can be used for both. Keys are submitted in reverse order for decryption. Some issues. You need to know the issues. You need to know a couple things out of here. Okay, secrecy. The rationale for the S boxes, P boxes, the key transformation was never released. The congressional inquiry exonerated NSA, but details are still secret. We don't know why.
It's NSA.
Exactly. Possible design flaws as NSA released information about the S boxes. It says no S box is a linear function of its input. Okay. Diffusion, or changing one S box input changes at least 2 output bits, which is good. We want that. S boxes are chosen to minimize differences between the number of 1s and 0s when each single input is held constant. Okay. So is that a flaw? I don't know. Okay. Do we really need 16 cycles? Experiments show that 8 cycles was totally sufficient. It's like shuffling cards. How many times do you need to shuffle cards? Once? Is that enough?
Depends on how you shuffle it.
Right. I mean, if you're a good shuffler, is 1 time good? Or 2 times? Or 3 times? So at what point is it shuffled enough? So they're saying 8's fine. So, all right. So key length is an issue. Okay. It says Lucifer had a 128-bit key. Now it only has a 56-bit key. So the key length has been cut in half. Okay? So 10 keys per second would take 228 million years. A parallel attack in 1977 with 106 each testing one key required 20 hours to break it. It's not that much. So a $50 million machine would cost 20,000 per solution. I can see someone paying for that if it was important enough data. Okay. Parallel attack, 3,500 machines took 120 days. Okay. So 35,000 machines would require 12 days. January 1999, EFF task force broke DES in 22 hours and 15 minutes using a supercomputer. Will no longer be certified. So, just not that big of a key. Okay. Weakness, complements. Okay, let's go back up. Basically, the complement is kind of like an opposite. Okay, it's a problem, but not that big of a problem. The keys. Okay, there's certain key weaknesses. So if I ask you for the weaknesses, complements, weak keys, semi-weak keys. You don't need to tell me in detail what they are, but you need to be able to pick them off a list. Okay, semi-weak keys. So if we have keys that are all zeros, well, that sounds like it's a bad idea. Or all ones, or vice versa. Those would be bad. Okay. So there are some keys that are bad. Okay. Design weaknesses. Expansion permutation repeats first and fourth bit of every 4-bit series. Crossing bits from neighboring 4-bit series. S-box S4 derives the last of the outputs from the same way as the first by complementing some of the input. And it says two different but carefully chosen inputs produce the same output, which is not a good thing to begin with. You should never have the same output. Key clustering. Again, you need to know the titles here. Key clustering. 2 or more keys produce the same encryption. In addition to semi-weak, there are also key clustering that exists. Okay. Differential cryptanalysis. It's a powerful technique. Okay. We sit there and we, like it says there, a carefully selected pair of plain text with subtle differences studies the effects on the output. You don't want that to happen, but it could happen. Okay. They will not recertify it. Okay. So, this is weak. If we use 2 56-bit keys back to back, so if we have a message and encrypt it, and encrypt that again, okay, is that 2 to the 56 possibilities? Does that become 2 to the 112th possibilities? So if we just encrypt it twice? No, it's actually 2 to the 57th. Because remember, the difference between 2 to the 56 and 2 to the 57 is double. It is. Okay. If you think 2 to the 3rd is 8. 2 to the 4th is what? 16. It literally doubles just by going up by 1. So to go from 56 to 57 is doubling it. So encrypting it twice is really only 2 to the 57. Okay. That's the end of the first slide.